Hey everyone, Chris Mack coming at you today with Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, issue 2. Finally got my new mic in the mail, and I'm absolutely happy about it because I tried recording without it and it just sounded like dog caca. So with that said, I'm glad to finally be able to dive back into this series. We did issue 1 a while back and then life happened and I couldn't get back into the series. So quick recap. This is on the tail end of Secret Wars where Colossus found a wife on Warworld, fell in love with her, had a life with her, and when he came back after she died, he told Kitty what happened and broke up with her, and it absolutely devastated her. So issue 1 was her going back and living with her dad. Her parents are in the mix of a divorce. Her dad's bank, I think he owns, is failing, and Kitty finds that he's doing business with the Yakuza. So she tries to, he says he's going to Japan for business meetings. She wants to know if she can help, so she tries to get on board, and a series of unfortunate events happen, and she ends up at the doorstep of Ogun and all the Yakuza and her father, and she's just shocked beyond belief. And because of all her bad choices once entering Japan, her health is bad, she has no money, she is just screwed on every possible end you could think of. Now, before we dive into the issue, I almost forgot. Let's talk about who created this issue from December of '84. This is Chris Claremont writing, Al Milgrom doing the art, Tom Orzanowski doing the lettering, Glynis Wine colors, and Nasanti was the editor, and Jim Shooter, let me whack the camera, was the editor-in-chief. So a lot of big names on this book, and it just opens up straight action. This guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, it's like Shagunsi or something like that. He goes, who is the Gaijin child? How did she gain access to this building, much less my private office? Mr. Matsu, I believe is how you pronounce it. She's my daughter, Catherine. I dislike skulkers and spies, Pryde. Hardly an auspicious beginning to our relationship. I would know what she's learned and heard of my activities. He's like, no, leave her alone. But her father doesn't know how deep in he is and what the lengths the Yakuza will go. And why this is happening, even though Kitty has realized she's made a lot of dumb mistakes, she says, I'm still more of a match for any of these big belly goons. They think I'm just a kid. They don't know I'm a mutant. One of the uncanny X-Men, taught how to fight by one of my teammates, probably the sneakiest, scariest guy there is, Wolverine. Bonafide heroine, that's me. I've saved the world, been to the far side of the universe, had my heart broken. This scrap's a welcome opportunity to burn off some anger. And tell the truth though, I didn't realize I had so much in me. So this series basically boils down to seeing Kitty growing from a young, bright-eyed girl that she was when she first joined the X-Men to having her own moments growing up in life. And I love the visual storytelling as she escapes the Yakuza's building, as she's thinking, dropping each level. Just a great way to add the dialogue on top of the story, just driving you literally forward into the basement. She says she wants to go to, what's Wolverine's wife's name? Mariko, because she's under their protection, but she gets caught by Ogun. And if we remember from the original Claremont Frank Miller run, Ogun has a chip on his shoulder with Kitty, and she becomes his slave. And again, a lot of times they'll talk about in film talk about split personalities or the inner self. They'll usually use mirrors or water as like a rebirth. Here, we see she's alone, vulnerable. And Ogun literally starts to slash her bit by bit, breaking her down to literally, not an ad, I promise, a child. And he wants to build her back up into his image as he makes her his daughter. He realizes that he can use Kitty against Wolverine. And the way that Logan comes onto the scene in this issue to find Kitty, it's just a great way. It brings you back to that Frank Miller, Chris Claremont era. And anytime Wolverine is in Japan or Madripoor, you know you're in for a great time. So here, Kitty is now the sensei slash daughter of the demon, ready to take on her former teammate. Now, I don't want to go too much. This is sort of a short review because I don't want to give too much away. I want you guys to go to your local comic shop and support it and pick up this series. This was a great little mini series. I enjoyed reading it, read it several times, love it each time, and that's why I wanted to share it with you all, and that's why we're diving right back into it. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, as I just said, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is you like to get your comics and action figures. Grab this series. And if you've enjoyed this review, I would really appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And then when you hit that fancy little bell next to subscribe, you guys get notified to come to the channel. Love talking with y'all, hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or my social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave links down in the description. So with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.